Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, today we're going to talk about a celebrity I don't think we've ever talked about because he's not hot. Jonah Hill. And his not hotness seems to be motivating his incredibly bizarre, shitty behavior in regards to his relationships. Now, his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, a professional surfer, semi-professional, I don't know what that means, but okay, she's a professional surfer, posted what appears to be texts from him browbeating her into, and he literally had a whole checklist of photos with men, inappropriate relationships, your ass in a thong, like in a swimsuit surfing. And he just goes on and on and on. And there's a lot of receipts here to behavior that she describes as abusive and misogynistic. And you know what? I am hard pressed to disagree. So we're gonna break these down and we're gonna go through some red flags that you need to watch out for in your life of people who exhibit this narcissistic control, because it is very, very related to narcissism. And we're gonna break down what narcissism means, because it's one of those words that we throw out, he's a narcissist, but an actual textbook narcissist, their pathology isn't necessarily what you think it is. You think that it's, well, they're just so full of themselves. Kinda. But not in the way that you think. We're going to break it all down. Plus, we're going to talk about KEKE Palmer's baby daddy. I don't even care what his name is. I thought he was like a professional basketball player, and everything I can find says he's a former fitness instructor. And he's telling her she should not be showing her ass in a dress at an Usher concert. First of all, if there is one man on planet Earth I will show my ass to, it is Usher. It is Usher. He would appreciate it, and he deserves it, okay? But he called her out publicly, mom-shaming her, slut-shaming her, and you know, I don't like these words. They're part of that like woke alphabet soup of like self-care, self-harm, mom-shaming, slut-shaming. But this is what both of these dudes are doing. And you know what? It would be one thing if these girls were actually acting slutty. Like, hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't get a train run on you at the Aerosmith concert. I would appreciate that. It's literally what they're wearing and doing behaviors that are completely normal, and most importantly, behaviors these men are probably doing. No one is turning around and telling these dudes what to do. Well, I am. I'm Shallon Lester, and this is what I do. Call men out, and I am the wall that this bullshit breaks against. Get the memo. But before we get started, I just want to remind you guys to download my new course on online dating. I'll tell you how to meet somebody on Tinder, Bumble. I'll tell you what to put in your profile. If you're fresh out of a relationship or divorced, or you're just like, I'm sick of going to the bars, I want to meet somebody. How do I do this? It's overwhelming. I got you. I'll take you through it A to Z, tell you what to wear on a date, how to act, how to get a date, how to take it offline and into real life. It's pretty great. Also, please consider donating to the charity we're highlighting, the Whispering Willows Senior Dog Sanctuary. I mean, they have, I think, 40 dogs right now, and they have $10,000 in medical bills, which if you've had a dog, you know that that's like nothing. That's like a heartbeat. That you can rack that up in an afternoon. But they adopt senior dogs from shelters who, and they take them in, who probably won't get adopted, and they let them live out their final years with like love and snouts, and even $5 adds up and can go a really, really long way. So if you are into it, go ahead and check the links down below, or you can donate via some of these QR codes. Okay, let's talk about Jonah. First of all, do you guys like my makeup? I did, one of my friends, she owns like a makeup business, an aesthetic whole company called Glam Ranch. Glam Ranch, isn't that cute? Isn't that so cute? I think it should be a clothing line too, like how great. But she's like, can I use you as a trial for bridal makeup for a model? I was like, yes. So I show up like wearing white, I'm method acting. I wear my wedding ring, which I realize I still have on. Isn't it so pretty? Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, really, yep. Good job, Shal. Anyway, do you like the makeup? It's not my usual style. I never usually do liner on the bottom because I think it's too, like it gets under my eyes and stuff. Only tell me if you think I look good. I don't need to know if I look bad. I love you. Thank you guys. Okay, so let's see what's going on with Jonah Hill. I just want to remind you that this is what Jonah Hill looks like. I never ever want you to lose sight of this image, because who the fuck are you to tell a hot girl to stop being hot? Isn't that why you date her? Because she's hot? I also want to say up front that the timing on this is interesting because I think in recent videos I mentioned someone I was dating. We are not dating anymore. I had heard he was arrogant and controlling. These were the two adjectives people were using more than once to describe him. And when people told me that, I didn't not believe them. I was like, I believe that. Like, that is a very specific kind of reputation. You know, it's not like he's a fuck boy. Like, okay, that could mean a bunch of different things. Maybe he just didn't like you and maybe you didn't get the message and he was trying to tell you. Maybe he was in a bad season in his life. Arrogant and controlling, not usually a seasonal thing. That is part of a man's coding. That is part of how he fundamentally views women and his right to speak to a woman about whatever whatever. So I was starting to see more than just shades of this. It was nothing egregious, but I'm also old enough and mature enough and mean enough to understand where pathologies like that go. And I was very thankful that I am 1,000 years old and that I have that maturity. It's one of the few times I'm like, thank God I'm 1,000,000 years old. I'm geriatric. Because had this happened 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to see it. Or I would have made excuses for it. Or, you know, I thought I could fix it. Here's the thing with controlling men. It never starts out as a huge ask. It's always something small. Why didn't you answer your phone? Do you really have to go out with the girls? That's even kind of big. It's smaller than that. It's gradual. Why don't you wear flats instead? Because I just don't think you're gonna be able to walk in the heels and that's gonna be really annoying. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Or it's like, I really don't like women who are taller than me. Oh, I'm only 5'4", but okay. Okay, and you give in because you think I'm trying to be the cool girl, right? I'm not trying to make waves. Who cares? Did I even want to wear heels? Flats actually sound comfortable. I guess I don't need to stay the full 2 hours of book club. Like, maybe I can change this appointment and then we could get dinner because that works with his schedule. Schedule is a big part of it. I have noticed that men try to control me with schedule. And I was talking to another boy in my life and I was telling him about breaking up with this guy. And he's like, I wonder if controlling men are drawn to you because you seem like a good challenge, like a real good fight. Like if they could break Shallon Lester, what a feather in their cap. I'm like, yeah. They won't though. But I was like, I actually don't mind a guy who's, I don't want to use the word controlling, but I like a very alpha male. Pick where we're going to dinner. Pick what we're doing tonight. Pick what movie. No, let me pick the movie. But I make decisions all day. A lot of us alpha females do. If we run our own business, if we're parents, if we're single parents, you know, we always say we're submissive in bed. Yeah, it's like, just lay me on my back. Tell me what to do. Am I talking too much? Put a hand around my throat. Thanks. I don't mind a very decisive man. I don't. But it's gotta come in an enticing package. You know? Pick the hotel we're gonna stay at in Monaco. Don't tell me what to fucking order in Belgrade, Montana. Okay? Like, if you can't fuse that control with a little bit of charm, boy, bye. And that's kind of where I was at with this guy I was dating. I'm like, I get that you need to have the upper hand, but you got to kind of put your back into it. You got to work for it a little bit. Make it a little seductive. Make it sexy. You're not. So it's like, oh, I can actually only just see your pathology. You don't even have the wisdom or the energy to like bamboozle me. Boy, come on now. And things are ongoing. The situation is still developing, maybe. I don't know. I just get this feeling he's not going to go quietly. I don't think he's going to, I don't know. Bought a new gun. And when people, you shouldn't have a gun. Oh, thank you. What should I have? My own private security team? Have you ever been afraid of a man? You ever lived alone? You ever lived alone in a big house with a lot of windows and people can roll up on you more easily than you think? Then shut the fuck up. Don't tell me how to defend myself. Don't tell me what my boundaries are. Don't tell me what I should and shouldn't be afraid of. I'm not going to tell that to somebody else. That's all I ask. I love the First Amendment. Second Amendment's around if the first one doesn't work. If I can express myself to someone without fear of retaliation, we got the Second Amendment. Anyway, but I've also said about guns a million times. I've also said this. I love a gun control. I love gun control. Make them high tax. Make me pass a background check, a psychological exam, a waiting period. Boom, boom, boom. I can knock them all down. That's fine. I love rigidity around being able to own and possess and operate a firearm. Throw it all at me. I can do it. It's like a car. Everyone should have the ability to drive, but you got to pass some tests and get a license and keep your insurance up. Like, okay, let's do it with guns. It's fine. Anyway, I'm done ranting. Let's talk about Jonah. So last week, his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, and they dated in 2021. They were together for a year. She shared all these screenshots. And what a lot of people are pointing out is that he's using therapy speak to control her, which I think is really, really interesting. But we're going to touch on that in a second. Okay. So she posted, she said, this is a warning to all you girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. So he was saying that she needs to remove all the photos from her Instagram. And this is like a huge part of her business. I get it. That showed her ass in a thong. She said, all the posts I removed from my page, like you can't see the top of the text. He said, good start, but you don't seem to get it. But it's not my place to teach you. That's therapy speak. That's therapy speak. And I think it's interesting to point that out because when we have to be cognizant that when we say this back to other people, it comes across as very patronizing. I'm not teaching you. I'm not a rehab for broken men. Me saying that was literally a viral TikTok sound. And if you guys know, I have perhaps been described as a narcissist with a lowercase n. I have perhaps been described thusly. I know I can be really manipulative. I can. What is charm? What is seduction? It's manipulation. Well, there's a downside to it. If you can do one, you can do the other. And yeah, when I've said that to people, now this gives me just a pause. And I'm not defending Jonah. I'm just saying, like, it's good for us to get a little temperature check. Like, oh, that can come across as pretty fucking patronizing. Would you want a man to say that to you? No. And when I look at it in print that Jonah said this to this chick, I'm like, okay. It's not my place to teach you. Like, to teach you what's appropriate and not appropriate to put on Instagram is what he means. I've made my boundaries clear. You refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear. I hope it makes you happy. Again, we look at this in reverse, and it's like, ugh. Have we said these things to people? Probably. But I don't think the place by the time we have to say this to a man, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be like team girl for a minute. By the time we have to say this shit to a man, they have breached boundaries. They have pushed us so far. Like, I feel like Jonah like goes to this immediately. Maybe I'm not giving him a fair shake. I think that I am. Fuck him. I've made my boundaries clear. My boundaries. Boundaries are not your rules of governance for someone else's life. That's not what a boundary is. That's not what a boundary is. A boundary is a fence. And it's a fence around your property, your emotional real estate. You have no right to go to your neighbor's house like, I don't care for your fence. I don't care for your fence. Can you take it down? It's affecting me. Go fuck yourself. You put up whatever fence you want, honey. That's their fence. You only get to be in charge of yours. So when people misuse this term, it really, really rankles me. And you need to be aware of this too. The misuse of the word boundary. The way Jonah Hill is using this is my standards for you. I have made my standard. And we think we use boundaries and standards interchangeably. They're not. They're not. I have a standard for behavior. I have a standard for my own behavior, my own integrity. And I also have a standard for somebody else's behavior. And if you don't meet that standard, hey, that's your choice, but you're not in my life, right? The consequence is not, I chip away at you as a person and I gaslight you and I browbeat you and I'm coercive. No. And listen, in the past, oh, that was exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. But I'm a healthier person now. And you think that as you get healthier via therapy and self-awareness and all of these things, that you would sort of look at other people and be like, okay, I'm healthier, so I'm going to tell you how you need to behave. No, it's the opposite. It's, hey, I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. If that's how you want to behave, okay, you don't meet my standard, And therefore my boundary is you're only allowed this far. Ooh, you run up against the fence. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you how to build your fence. I'm not even going to tell you to change your behavior. Because again, when you're on a journey, I hate that word, a journey, but when you're doing therapy and working out and habit stacking and chasing your goals and dreams and your skincare routine, when you are living right, truly, like in that healthy, holistic way, you know more than anyone. It's not my job to change them. I got my 35 fucking Korean step skincare routine to do. I'm busy, okay? You are more clear than ever that this is a you issue. And maybe it's not an issue. Maybe it's just differentials. Maybe it's just differentials. Different strokes for different folks. And so that's what Jonah Hill should have done. He should have been like, I find it wildly offensive that my girlfriend surfs in a thong. Have you ever surfed? Everything becomes a thong when you surf. It's just like butt crack city. I've surfed a lot, and like your ass is out. You're playing a sport. It's like gymnasts like, come on, dude. Sorry, I'm sick and I'm like clearing my throat. What he should have said is, you know what? This just doesn't sit right with me. I don't think we're a match. Shitty, but not abusive, not misogynistic. You can say, you're over here, I'm over here. No one's right, no one's wrong. We just are into two different things. The way you would with like religion, right? You're Jewish, I'm a Muslim. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but we're too different in a way that I don't feel that we can overcome, and I just don't think that there's a middle ground for us. You know what I mean? If you put it in that context, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see how people would just walk away. I want kids, you don't. Let's just walk away. There's no bad blood. It just isn't working. But that's not what he did. That's not what he did. The consequence of someone not meeting my behavior, like I said, is not I stick around and torture them. It's I remove myself. She's now pushing back about things being a thong or not. And he's like, there's tons. I'm just going back this past month. You want to argue and I don't. Amazing tactic by a manipulative person. When you defend yourself, when you say, that doesn't sit right with me, or by your definition, this is not correct. This behavior that you find so intolerable actually does not fall under this definition. This isn't it. This isn't a thong. This isn't cheating. This isn't staying out too late. This isn't whatever. They're like, you know what? You just want to fight. Gaslighting. Gaslighting. It is so coercive. It's so fucking manipulative. It's like, no, I don't want to argue. I want to defend myself. But you know what? Fine. I want to argue. Yeah, I want to argue about this. These photos mean something to me. This is my career. This is my body. I have a fence that you're butting up against. And you want me to open that gate and let you in. I don't want to. So yeah, defend your position. I'll defend mine. Let's see if we can find a middle ground. If not, when people say that, it's like, you just want to fight. What's wrong with fighting? You started it. You started this. I didn't start this. I'll finish it, but I didn't start it. Don't get those two things mistaken. And sometimes you need to fight about things. You know the phrase I love, pick your battles. Why do I love it? Because the key word there is pick. Some people interpret that as, oh, just pick your battles. And they interpret it like, oh, don't fight anything. I don't. Let some things go, but not everything. And I know exactly what battles I fight. I literally have a list. We've talked about this, like a war map, a list of things that you can let go, whether it's at work or another one that's in friendship, another one that's in dating, another one that's in like your family relationships, things you're like, I can let it go. I don't love it, but I'll let it go. And other things you're like, no. This will be a hill I die on. It actually will. You can't die on every hill, but you should die on one of them. Pick your battles. Let's keep going. Again, gentle, loving reminder, this is what this man looks like. Let's see him and her together. There's just a lot of roots. Like they kind of look at inverse images, like he's blonde on top and dark in the bottom. She's dark on top, blonde on the bottom. There's just like, I just wanted to send both of them to a hairdresser. And do you think it was her idea to wear a suit? Probably not. Here's the best part. She posted this. Plain and simple. Oh yeah. and see the contact profile picture. I zoomed in. It's totally him. At first I was like, wait, is this not him? And she's like ruining his life. It's like Jonah Galakowicz. Oh, fuck. My ex just arrived. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to hold on. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. My ex showed up. Not the one I just dumped, like the potentially crazy one, but a different one, Tom. I'll tell you about it in the Shallon Entourage. Anyway, we're back. And I'm in a different outfit because it's a different day. Sorry, you guys. And I'm in my own makeup that I did. What do you think? Are you like, you should let somebody do your makeup more often? Again, only tell me if I look good, and I will tell me the things you like, and I will infer based on what you don't say, the things you don't like. No need to come out with it. No need to come out with it. I'm very sensitive. I'd like to stay that way. Speaking of sensitivity and sensitive ass pussy beta men, Jonah Hill. Yeah, remember that? Okay, well, in the last 12 hours, when I stopped doing that video and now I'm picking back up again, evidently it came out, Sarah Brady, Jonah Hill's ex, Jonah Hill, reminder, looks like this. And by the way, you guys know I was a celebrity editor and I know a lot of gossip about celebrities. I have never heard one good thing about Jonah Hill. Not one. The word that I always hear associated with him is prick. He's a prick. He's rude. He's like, he's that character, but he's like that in real life. I'm sick. And he's like sneering. He's just rude. He's just rude. It's like, you think he's going to be really like funny and cool? No. I've heard that about Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Steve Martin, that they're just like, they just talk down to people. There is no need for that. And notice that none of those men I mentioned are hot. And yet, who do we hear is so nice? Ryan Reynolds, the Hemsworth, Jason Momoa. Yeah. Shawn Mendes, the hot ones. Hot people have no need to be mean. They're at the top of the food chain. They can be a little bit more magnanimous and a little less twatty. So, knowing that, I am inclined to believe what his ex said. And she also, yes, so in the last 12 hours, she revealed that he was sexting her. Blech. Ew. Just ew all the way around. Was sexting her right before he started this new relationship. And the kind of the reason she was coming out with all this is because he has some new relationship. I don't know. I don't care who it is. But he's got a daughter, or he has a child. And we don't know if it's a daughter, but Sarah Brady was like, I hope it's a girl. I hope it's a girl. And maybe she can teach him some things about actually being a feminist, because the fact that he says he is fucking laughable. It's laughable. And I've noticed this with guys. A lot of guys they will use our desire for feminism. And by the way, you guys know, I define feminism as doing whatever you want to do. You can be a feminist stay-at-home wife. Great, amazing. You can be a feminist sugar baby in Russia, all right? You can be me who's a feminist. You could be a million. It just means you do what you want to do. And I also define feminism not as equality. I don't want to be treated as an equal by men. I want to be treated better. Oh, you're going to open the doors. No, I'm not. I'm not splitting the check. Can you suck your own dick? That's what I thought. It's on you. Thanks. Sorry, not sorry. But guys will dress up this kind of behavior as, hey, this is feminism, babe. You want equality? That means I'm going to talk to you XYZ, fill in the blank. These two concepts don't bridge to me. That cake don't bake. And you know I love a logical argument. They can't make it make sense to me. If you can in the comment section, well, I'm sure the incels will find this and be like, meh. Witness a female orgasm in real life, my little incel. One that you precipitated, one that you created, then you can talk to us. Oh, does that cut a lot of you guys out of the running? Ooh, uh-oh, sorry. I'm just exhausted by Jonah Hill. I'm also exhausted by Keke Palmer's baby daddy, some nobody named Darius Jackson, all right? I have Googled and Googled and Googled. The most I can find about this guy is that he's a fitness instructor. Like a Zumba instructor? Like step touch? Do the grapevine? Clap, grapevine. That's who you are. Okay, so Keke Palmer went to an Usher concert, in Vegas, and wore like a thong bodysuit with a mesh dress over it. Listen, I have been a long-standing OG. Truly, I was one of the OG bodysuit and mesh dress consumers. I had to like do it myself. No one was selling these things. I was like cutting the slip out of a mesh dress. I really was. I've been doing this since like 2014 or something like that. So I'm a huge fan of this look. Not with a thong. That's just my own personal thing. I think it's just like a bit much, but it depends on where you are. If you're in Vegas, you know, but I'm honestly like more modest than people think I am. Like I wouldn't pair that. But again, my definition of feminism is like, do whatever you want, man. Wear whatever you want. I might not think it's flattering. I might not think it's particularly appropriate, but that I would never tell you not to wear that in the context of that's morally inappropriate. You know, when I talk about appropriateness, I'm talking about like the context of an event. Like, is that the dress code? Not like, ooh, but you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a Christian. Are you fucking kidding me? You're a person. Wear whatever you want, man. And again, if I'm gonna judge you, which look, I do, it's in context of like, is this like the vibe? Read the room? Like, are you reading the room, you know? Her baby daddy, again, a Zumba instructor named Darius Jackson, posted this whole long screed on Instagram, which I have a huge problem with that he did this publicly. I can't imagine what he said to her in private. If this is what he said to the streets, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Let's read it. I love to get it straight from the horse's mouth. So this is what he tweeted. It's the outfit though. You a mom. You unemployed. You unemployed, Darius. Why don't you sit your broke ass down? You're so concerned with everyone's butt cheeks. Why don't you sit on yours? Oh, is that what you actually do all day? Because you don't have a job outside of your 24-hour fitness Group X fitness classes? Your Les Mills body pump class? Shut up. This woman is paying the bills. What a fucking beta male you are. And you have the audacity to comment on her outfit? But of course, it's always the beta males. It's always the beta males. Jeff Bezos isn't posting this shit about Lauren Sanchez, right? Chris Hemsworth isn't talking about Elsa Pataki this way. No. Barack Obama, can you imagine? Would never. Would never. After receiving backlash, he doubled down on his opinion. We live in a generation where the man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks. That term makes my skin crawl. To please others. And he gets told how much of a hater he is. First of all, she's not your wife. She's your girlfriend. So don't act like you've wifed her up. Did you pay for a wedding? Did you buy a huge diamond ring? Did you sign a contract with the government? Did you negotiate a prenup with lawyers? All that shit costs what? Money. And what do you have? Oh, is it not money? I don't know, maybe I'm missing something about this guy. I went down some pretty deep Google rabbit holes. The best I can find that he's like the brother of some actor on the show Insecure. Well, that word kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Okay, it's just a show, Darius. Doesn't have to be your whole identity. The man of the family. You know what men do? You know what men do? They provide. Men provide. Are you providing? Then I don't want to fucking hear your opinion. And listen, you could clap right back at me and say, well, look at Jonah Hill. He was making the money. He made more money than Sarah Jackson did. Was he paying her bills though? And listen, we're getting into the weeds here of like, money doesn't equal control. Although, you know what, girls? It kind of does. It kind of does. I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but it is actually the way the world has worked literally for centuries. The person with the money actually does have the power. And if you think you're going to be a sugar baby or something like that, or a kept woman or a trophy wife, and you're going to call all the shots, good fucking luck out there. Good luck. So, I mean, for some people, it does boil down that way. I wouldn't go into it assuming. Some people can eat whatever they want and not get fat. Is that you? Okay. You must always assume that you're the rule, you're not the exception. And especially when it comes to men with money. And what you see on the outside. Well, I know this girl and she calls all the shots with her like fat husband. Look at Lala and Randall Emmett. Lala Kent and Randall Emmett. You could say, oh my God, she's so beautiful. He's literally shaped like a triangle. He has no jawline. She has him by the balls. Not the way she tells it. He wasn't like there for their daughter's birth. He just couldn't be fucking bothered. Right? Did she like have to take an Uber home? Something crazy. He was cheating on her left and right. Oh, does she sound like she's in the driver's seat? No. No. just because she has the credit card. Money equals power. So never lose sight of that. You want to date a rich and powerful man? There are very few of them. It is a very rare breed who is going to defer to you and not have these opinions. And maybe it's not about what you wear. Maybe it's about where you guys live. Maybe it's about what religion your kids are raised. But he's going to have opinions. He didn't get to be rich and powerful without them. So just understand that this can be part of the construct. If you don't like that, either be very judicious about the rich and powerful men you date, because they're not all created equal, and you really have to look for the good ones, or date someone where the footing is a little bit more equal. Now, I don't date broke dudes, because look at KEKE Palmer's baby daddy. He's broke as fuck, I assume. He's not making more money than her. She's a celebrity, right? She's a very famous actress. She was at the Met Gala. He's in 24 Hour Fitness. It's unfortunate that we can't think like, okay, well, if I date a guy who's X, I'm not going to deal with Y. And that's just not how human nature works. Well, if I deal with a rich guy, he's not going to have a power play dynamic. Ooh, no, that's the opposite. Okay, well, if I deal with a broke guy, he's not. No. And I've said this before in videos. My therapist is like, Shallon, give the blue collar guys a chance. He could be the needle in the haystack, the 1 in a million who could handle your career and your vibe and, how alpha you are. I said, why the fuck would I look for, if I'm going to look for a needle in a haystack, why the fuck would it be a landscaper and not a billionaire? Those are the opposite ends of the same spectrum. A guy who rakes leaves for a living, or a guy who has a fleet of yachts? Sorry. I'm not dating a guy who can do the job of a 12-year-old. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. Call me a gold digger. I'm looking for an alpha male. Just, bro. So KEKE clapped back at this publicly and was like, new moms, do you? And I think it's especially galling that her unemployed Zumba instructor boyfriend would come for her like this, again, in a public way. And like, you want to act like you're the man of the house. What do men do? They provide, and they also, what's the other P? Protect. They protect. You have betrayed your woman in that moment posting this as if you had fucking cheated on her. What a betrayal. To think that if my partner, my husband, not your husband, boyfriend, has an issue with me, I can't trust that that man will come to me, woman to man, person to person, respect to respect, and work it out. He's going to take it to the streets and humiliate me like that? What is that if not betrayal? How is that better than cheating? I would so much rather a man cheat on me in private than shame me like that in public. To force me to defend myself in public? Look, we're talking about it in this video. That's not fair to her. That's ridiculous. And then call himself the man of the family? Are you on fucking drugs, Darius? Are you out of your mind? The audacity. The audacity. The audacity. At least Jonah Hill was doing this shit in private. I mean, he had the good sense to do that and be like, he clearly thinks he's in the right. I never read to you Jonah Hill's, someone posted, dream summer bucket list. It's like his list of things he didn't want his girlfriend Sarah to do. Love it. And yeah, someone said this is my summer bucket list. It's amazing. He said, plain and simple, : if you need, : First of all, Jonah, you're overusing colons. Okay, I don't know how else to say this to you. Can we get a misogynist to English, like sort of thesaurus or dictionary or something, some sort of grammar guide? I don't know. If you need, bullet point, surfing with men. She's a surf instructor. Also, I've surfed. It's really hard to fuck in the ocean when you're both on surfboards. So I don't really know where you're going with this. Can't even blow somebody. Surfing with men. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. To model. If you need to model. If you need to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit. She's a surf instructor. Also, a bathing suit? What is this, Victorian England? Look at those slutty knees. Jonah, is this because no one wants to see your dumpy ass in a bathing suit? It looks like a beige hefty bag full of minestrone soup. Oh, wait. Do you not want people talking about your body? Oh, crazy. Suddenly you understand. Do you now understand? Asshole. To post sexual pictures. I've looked at this girl's Instagram. My Instagram is far more sexual, and my Instagram isn't sexual. If you need, this is my favorite. Because listen, maybe he's got a leg to stand on. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. First of all, boundaries, as we said, are for my own behavior. They're not for governing other people. And what is appropriate or inappropriate is unfortunately subjective. It's subjective. I was telling the Shallon today in a post that, like, I don't want the guys I date to have female friends. I mean, listen, if this is someone who is already in their life, they've been there for a long time, she's got her own partner, okay, I don't love it. But if he's making new female friends, hell no. No. And if their friendship is not appropriate, but like, listen, no, I don't want my guy to be hanging out with tons of chicks. I know how pouncy women are. And I know how weak men are. I know how pouncy men are. I would just rather not. But of course, listen, we could say, it's like, girl, you could put that man in a cage. If he wants to cheat, he'll cheat. Completely agree. And I'm not someone's emotional parole officer. If I have to go around making all these rules, I don't trust him to begin with. Or if he is a trustworthy person, and this is how I treat him, what an insult to him as a man. Do I want to be treated this way? No. So it's tricky business. It's tricky business to be like, here's what makes me feel uneasy, but I'm still trying to respect you as a man and not be inappropriate myself in what I'm reading. It's tricky. But listen, maybe JONAH had a hill to die on. Do you get it? Saying inappropriate friendships with men. Here's my favorite. This is if you need friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past beyond getting lunch or coffee or something respectful. I'm not the right partner for you. If you need friendships with unstable women from your bad recent past, your wild recent past, so slut shaming right there. It's like, oh, you mean the past that probably made her hella good in bed? I love it when guys grill me about my sexual past. You don't need to know how the sausage is made. Am I good in bed? Am I taking you to another dimension with my skills? I am. You don't want to know how I got there. If you go see a band in concert, are you blown away by learning that that's not the first time they played that song? They've not only played it for other people, they play it in private when no one's around, just for their own playing pleasure. Wow. Sluts. Are you out there at a Dave Matthews Band concert? Sluts! You're all sluts up on that stage. Are you doing that? No. So men can get their head around the concept that you have to practice to be good at something, but that immediately stops. The wall that hits is a woman and her body and her sexual skills. There is nothing more juvenile than the guy who thinks a woman should be incredible in bed, but also never touched before. She was just completely wrapped in plastic. Factory settings. Until she met you, and then she's like, all my sexuality is activated. I know exactly what to do. Sit down. That's what a 13-year-old thinks. Not even. That is what we all would love to think. That's what's so galling about it. It's like we would all love if that was true. That every guy we fall in love with has no past. No past, no crazy ex-girlfriend, no baggage, no drama, no broken hearts, no slutty phase, no threesomes, no Snapchat, none of it. They exist just for us. But we, as non-lunatics, immediately are like, okay, that's not realistic. It's not even healthy. We actually don't want to date that guy who's like fresh from the factory. We want someone who's like knows some shit. Who knows some shit. And it's not fair. It's not fair. And you guys have sent me messages like, I'm just worried about his past. And I'm like, how fucking dare you? How dare you? How dare you sit in judgment of who that man was before he met you? Do you want him to sit in judgment of you? And you guys don't love to hear that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. This is the only time I think there should be equality between the sexes. Like, judge not lest ye be judged. Is that how that goes? I don't know. So JONAH lists all these things. If you need to model be in a bathing suit and post pictures. I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it and there will be no hard feelings. The therapy speak. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Once again, boundaries are not governances of other people. They are your fence line. Your boundary is not your neighbor's fence. It is yours. It is yours. It's yours. And again, it's tricky business because there are some things that you might need to tell your partner. It's not okay that you stay out until 3 a.m. with your female coworker and you don't answer your phone for 6 hours. That's not okay. But it's not okay to be like, you can't post a photo. You know what I mean? And this is where men gaslight us. This is where they get us because we bring something up and we're like, oh, so I'm not allowed to post a picture, but you're allowed to go out with Kelsey until 3 a.m. and you're not answering your phone. And they come back with, see? Okay, so I'm not allowed to do something. When I tell you, hey, something hurts my feelings, inappropriate, I'm the fucking crazy guy. And you're like, well, but that is crazy that I'm not allowed to post a picture. And he's like, oh, but I can't, I'm doing nothing and I can't do that. Interesting. Or you can acknowledge that that's inappropriate for me to stay out with her, but you can go out with your friends till 3. They get you like this. They get you like this. The guy I just dumped would do that. And you feel like you're in a washing machine. You're just like, but it's not, there's the gaslighting and the feminism. And you like cannot put an argument together. And you know what I'm really good at? Putting an argument together. And I found myself with this guy being like, he's like, so you cannot respond to me out of spite because you're mad for 7 hours. You can take 3 seconds to text me, but if I don't text you back to your heartfelt, honest text, you dump me? And I'm like, yes. But then I get some objectivity. I'm like, no, yes. It takes a while to let that emotional dust settle, which is why they kick it up. That's why they kick it up, girl. But again, it's tricky because there is logic in what they're saying. And that's why it gets you. That's why these controlling people get their hooks in you because you're like, well, I mean, what? You have to go back to your gut. And this is where intuition kicks in, you know? Some women would read this, Jonah Hill's text, and be like, I see nothing wrong with what he's saying. My husband has said that to me. My boyfriend has said that to me. And you know what? I'd say the same fucking thing. Why are you posting thirst traps on Instagram? Please don't hang out with your friends who do nothing but cheat on their wives and do coke. You know? If you're out of that era, be out of it. You don't need to hang out with messy Kyle. Hang out with stable Jason, you know? Again, this is where it gets very, very sticky, but we have to come back to our center as who we are as individuals, not just women, but as individuals, and be like, that doesn't sit right with me. And then we have to ask ourselves, why? Why doesn't that sit right with me? So let's say a guy texted me this. If you need to model and post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, okay, that sits very not right with me because I'm an influencer. And so is this girl, Sarah. It's like, this is my job. This is part of my job. And I get real fucking punchy about this. I got in a fight with the guy to a point that he sent me like, I don't know, 5 deliveries of flowers in the last week because he was like chirping me about what I was posting on Instagram and my reels and what I was saying. And I was like, don't tell me how to do my fucking job. Okay? You don't have to agree with it. I didn't ask. I don't come to your office. I don't tell you how to run your company. I'm not pressing my face against the glass of your conference room and be like, king, king, king. Hey, that way that you just said that thing about the PowerPoint, I didn't like that. You will now be escorted off my property. But even if something isn't your job, you have to look at a gut check and be like, sorry if that's unequal. Sorry. That's my that's my fence line. You're butting up against my fence line. But listen, let's go to some science. Let's see what some scientists had to say about this. Here are some red flags of narcissistic abuse. Remember, we were going to talk about narcissists. Now, we throw around the term narcissist all the time to describe like a guy who's really full of himself. A true classic textbook narcissist is actually the opposite. We look at them and we think that they're all just like self-absorbed, self, me. They're actually very externally focused. Yes, it's me, but I am so insecure. I have such a shaky / potentially non-existent core of self-esteem. I need to get all of this from the outside. Like, tell me how great I am. Tell me that you love me the most. Tell me this. You need to be perfect because you're my girlfriend, and I have to bask in the shine of perfection that comes off you because I don't feel like I have any perfection myself. They're actually profoundly insecure. I believe that this can be changed. I mean, narcissistic personality disorder is like different than someone who is displaying narcissistic tendencies, right? Like they're not interchangeable. So that's important to realize. And so when my therapist described me as a lowercase n, it's in the tendencies, not personality disorder. And listen, that was like 7 years ago. I have done a lot of work on myself, on my body, on my living situation, on my career. I am much more fully formed now, much more. And I am much less cold-blooded, much less cold-blooded. She described me like that when I was engaged and not doing well. So I was in a different place. And so my point is, like, we can work on these things. It's not carved into stone. But we also can't date potential. So if you're dealing with someone who might be in that state, it's like, well, they just need to do all this work on themselves. Yeah, no shit. Are they going to? Honestly, girl, most people don't. They really don't. We do because we're the bad bitches, right? We're the alpha females here and we want to get better. You watch this channel because you want to get better. A lot of people really don't. They will just, why clean a house when you can just burn it down? And there's another house right there that I can move into. So here are some red flags. Ask yourself, does your partner make fun of you or others in cruel and mean ways? This would be more than like consensual teasing. So this is an article from Psychology Today. This would be more than just consensual teasing. It would be indicative of little to no empathy. Like, look at how that person's dressed. Ugh, it's like babe, they're probably poor. Okay, but they're just wearing this shitty knockoff purse. Like, yeah, because they're poor. Like, they can't carry real Chanel. Like, okay, that displays a lack of empathy. And you know what? We know this, women. It's the waitress test. How a man treats a waitress, that's how he's going to treat you once upon a time. He will. When you break up, maybe not even then. Does he use intimidation or threats to you and other people? Does he think that all mistakes are someone else's fault? Someone else's fault. In isolation, the article says, this could be immaturity or arrogance, but it could also make them incapable of owning their part in a relationship ending and giving them a false sense of being wronged. Ooh, victim narrative. Pull up. Victims are bullies. We've said this about Taylor Swift. People who feel chronically victimized become bullies. We've used this as the metaphor. When you're suicidal, you're homicidal. It's a fucking metaphor. I don't mean it literally. Okay? But it's meant to mean if you're in pain, boom, you're going to hurt other people because no one matters. No one else matters but you. Think about when you have the flu. It's like, I'm in pain. When guys have the flu, I'm in hell. Like, right? They're absolutely intolerable. So be aware of this. When a guy describes all of his exes as crazy, come on now. Behind every crazy woman is a man who made her that way. And there's nothing more awful than that moment in a relationship when you're thinking about your dynamic with him and you're like, I get why his ex was like that. I get it now. It's that Olivia Rodrigo vampire song. You called your exes crazy and oh my God, I called them crazy too. And then you're like, okay. You get it a little. You get it a little bit. And also, by the way, if a man only dates crazy women, who's the common denominator? So when a guy tries to run that game on me, I'm like, so why do you only pick crazy women? And like, well, I don't. They turn crazy. I'm like, so you're not learning from any of your mistakes. Like a smart person would date one crazy person. They would log the data points of what behaviors led to actual red flags of something that was gonna go wrong? You couldn't do that? Why is that? You wanna be the victim so fucking bad? Not around here. So be very, very cognizant of this. They show very little capacity for remorse or self-reflection. They have constant conflicts with others. They love it. They lie a lot or constantly say things that just don't add up or make sense. Everyone tells little white lies, but look out for constant deceit. We just covered this on the Scamanda thing about pathological liars. They act cruel or abusive to animals, disabled people, or children. Well, no shit. They blame others constantly without taking responsibility. They threaten to ruin your career if you leave. They threaten to take the children. They speak badly about you to others. You see a pattern here? It's everyone else, them. They're picking fights almost so that they can feel the victim. And I also want to talk to you about control and controlling people. It will start out as a compliment. It starts as compliments. You just look so pretty with no makeup. Oh, I just love you when you're in a big old ratty sweatshirt and those period sweatpants. Let's just go out. Don't change. You look great. Why teeter around in those high heels? You look great in Crocs. Here, oh my gosh, I bought you Crocs. Then it steps up. He just loves to tell me what to wear. He loves when I wear this. And he bought me these like new sweatpants. Yeah. He's just gonna let me move in with him because so I can save money on rent. What do we say about people with money who have the power? Okay. It never starts with a punch in the face. You know, and we look at women who get abused, like physically abused, and we're like, girl, what? And they're like, well, he's not like this all the time. And they're not wrong. I was in an abusive relationship, and it's like, well, no shit. If he'd start out on day one cracking me in the mouth, no, I wouldn't have hung around. They don't start like that. Narcissists never do. They love bomb. It starts very sweet, starts intense. They're a great listener. You know why they're listening? Is because they're letting you talk enough so that they can figure out all your weak spots and your pressure points so that they can push on all of them to their own gain. Right? All those compliments, suddenly they become backhanded compliments. You're so skinny fat, you really just look better in pants than shorts. But you're so skinny. Okay, what? And again, you're in this washing machine. You're in this washing machine. And you're holding on to these positive data points at the beginning of the relationship before they shifted, which is what most narcissists do when they feel like they're starting to lose control or you suddenly become imperfect. You're showing booty cheeks out with Ursher. You're posing in a swimsuit at your job. I'm not sure what Jonah Hill thinks you're supposed to wear when you're surfing or talking about surfing or promoting surfing. A burqa? I don't know. A hazmat suit? These men. Broke. Ugly. Hair like top ramen. It's audacious. Tell me what you guys have to say about this. Sorry I'm low energy. I don't feel good. I've been sick for a few days now and I just feel like I'm super run down and exhausted in general. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna leave you guys high and dry. Let me know what else we should talk about this week. And I just wanted to maybe you guys saw a preview of our new jewelry collection. Can you tell what it is? FAFO? Fuck around? Find out. I'll see you later, Shalligators.